Okay, I would like to introduce Paula Schnese, is that correct? And she is the founder of Cultivate Community Food Co-op. And co-ops are really important now, and we want to highlight this. And I wanted to ask Paula, what made you come into this realm and want you to establish this organization?
Well, first of all, Tina, thank you so much for having me here and
Yes,
inviting me
welcome.
and bringing awareness to the community here. So my family and I moved to Benicia in 2013, and I was pretty surprised at the food scene here. We just came from down the road in Richmond, only 38 miles away, and the lack of food choice was so apparent. Um, and so I got tired of driving back and forth to Berkeley. I knew that there's must be other people who think the same thing that I'm thinking. And so I thought I should do something about it. Okay, so I pondered it for a couple of years and I thought, okay, I can't complain if I don't even try. So I didn't really know anybody in the town, but I just put it out there in the community. 65 people showed up to the first meeting. And so then I got going. I just thought, if not me, who? If not when, if not now, when? So I just got going and organized, and we've just been doing it since then.
That is amazing. That is really amazing. You saw a need in your community, so you decided to step up and actually organize this. And I applaud you, and I think we need more of that type of energy for our community. And we definitely, I agree, we need better, healthier choices in our community. And also the energy of putting forth of like an entrepreneurship where people are all involved as a collective. I think that the idea of co-ops is a beautiful thing because it has the community come together and all be part of something for the greater good. And
exactly.
So I applaud you.
Thank you so much. I mean, I wanted to get excited about food again. I when I shop at these national chain grocery stores, I get anxious when I'm inside. I want to be at a market where I'm in line and I'm asking somebody, oh, what do you do with that? Oh, how do you cook with that? And just get exposed to all kinds of different foods. So I didn't really even know I was a foodie until coming to this area. So
yeah, there's so many different selections, and I mean, and it's very sad that you have to pay high prices, like going to Whole Foods to be exposed to really healthy choices. And I think that the idea of a co-op where everyone is involved and you would pull the groceries from where would you actually get the plants and the actual vegetables and herbs and things in your grocery store? Would it be local farmers?
Yes. So with food cooperatives, that's the fundamental underlying value of food cooperatives is to source from your local food providers. So we would start with our local farmers, start with our local food producers, and then we would go out beyond there. So in Solano County, there's a lot of large farms that export their foods. They're monocrop farms, and they export overseas or to the rest of the country. There's also a lot of small farmers in Solano County that need a market. We want to create a market for them. It's really funny because I continue to shop in Berkeley. I'm tired of driving, so I'm putting thousands of hours to create a food cooperative to avoid driving a couple of hours, back and forth.
I know what you mean. I am driving all the way to Dixon to get some of my vegetables.
Yeah. And a lot of these farmers, they pass us to supply Oakland, Berkeley, San Francisco. We've been talking to farmers, and they would love to stop in Vallejo and Benicia. They don't want to go all the way to the city, but they have to because that's where the money is. So we need to create this market in this area because we're so overlooked.
Right. And I know that in the Vallejo-Benicia area, we definitely have the need, and I love the idea of supporting local farmers so that they don't have to go as far. You're actually helping the environment, lessening the carbon imprint. They are using less gas, so you're actually helping on many levels, economically, environmentally. There's so many benefits to your organization. And I was really encouraged when I went to your website and I saw, oh, I could be part owner of this. And for anyone that's wanted to be part of something bigger and be an owner and also help on so many levels, economically, environmentally, healthier choices for your community, I would encourage anyone to go to your website. But hold on one second. How much money does it take to launch this actual co-op?
Tina, can I back up just for a minute?
Yes,
and talk about what a food co-op is?
Yes.
Because we've found that in our organizing, starting out, a lot of our job was to educate people on what a food cooperative is.
Yes.
Because a lot of people don't know. So we are not a CSA. A CSA is community supported agriculture. It's where a farmer, you buy from the farmer ahead of time, and then they put them in boxes and they deliver it to an area and then you pick it up. And we're not a food buying club. And we're very different from the food cooperatives that were back in the 70s. So we're not starting from, say, a food buying club and then getting into a store and then getting into a bigger store and then getting into a bigger store. That was the way it was in the 70s, and that worked. And there's many cooperatives around today that started back in the 70s. The closest ones here is we have Davis Food Cooperative and we have Sacramento Natural Foods Cooperative. Those both started in the 70s, and they are consumer-owned grocers like we will be. Then in San Francisco, you have Rainbow Grocers and you have Other Avenues Grocers. Those are worker-owned cooperatives. So those are a little different business, the way it's organized, but they still operate the same as the cooperatives. So we Cultivate Community Food Cooperative. We will be a thriving, full-service natural grocery store owned by the people. So we own it. We make the calls. We make the decisions. And so as you were saying earlier, how it helps our community, there are 4 areas that cooperatives generally really help. They promote our local food system. They strengthen our local economy. They build community, and they care for the environment. And so we talked a little bit about the local food and where it will come from. And as far as strengthening our community, I mean, our economy system is kind of messed up, right? I mean, the rich keep getting richer, the gap keeps getting bigger. It takes money to make money, right? So in communities that have food cooperatives, you may not realize this, but a lot of these communities are still thriving even during this pandemic. And that's because the food cooperatives, they source from the local businesses. So that keeps the businesses employed, right? And cooperatives care about the people that provide the food for the store, and they care about their owners. And so if a business is struggling, they pull together and they help. I mean, so helping the economy is really great. Cooperatives pay higher wages for their grocery store workers. They offer better health care benefits. So those are just some of the ways that a co-op helps with the economy. So even if you are okay buying, the free-range eggs, which, by the way, doesn't mean that the chickens are running around in the range. No, it just means that they can lift their wings. They have free range of their wings. It's incredible. So even if you don't care
legally,
about
the space that a chicken has, that's all it really means.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it doesn't necessarily equate to healthier.
Exactly. So even if you don't care about the food, you might care about the economy, right? Or the community. I mean, food cooperatives in many communities, they are the cultural center. Mm-hmm. I mean, you'll hear in towns where there's a co-op, hey, let's go meet up at the co-op. I mean, I don't hear about that at grocery stores. There's so many cool things, and they offer classes, and they help organizations and they help farmers. And then as far as the environment, caring for the environment, we have bulk foods, to help with packaging. And, first and foremost, we have a softer footprint because we're sourcing from local.
Right.
And by the way, big grocers, they're trying to change the definition of local, right? So now they're saying, as far as you can drive in a day,
Yeah.
I mean, I was at the store in Benicia a couple of weeks ago shopping, and I only get organic fair trade bananas, and they're in the store in a little brown paper bag that says buy local, our bananas. So I don't know where we're growing bananas around here.
Exactly.
So anyway, those are.
And that's good that I'm sure there will be like a committee involved when it comes about, and you could decide, okay, no, we don't want this product in the store because it's not healthy, or I've heard that they associate with this GMO company, and I'm kind of skeptical of them.
Exactly.
At least you can actually have power over your food as well.
Exactly. We get to make the choices. That's exactly right. Yeah.
And that's so important nowadays, because if you go to the average grocery store and you pick up a piece of fruit, you don't know if it's grown in a lab or if it's actually grown out in the fields. Mm-hmm. And that affects our health. And, we don't want to be deceived anymore. And I think 2020 has been the year of revealing so many truths, and we just want things that are real and things that are tangible and healthy for us. And I think that this would be a great step in the right direction, and it all starts with our food and our health. And I'm just so pleased by, you coming together with this. And I know during the pandemic, you probably had to halt a lot of, what you were working on. And where is it at exactly for the Benicia Vallejo area?
Excuse me.
Oh, I have a water for you.
You mean where is it at in our development, or
yes.
Where is the store going to be? Okay, sorry, excuse me.
It happens to me all the time on air.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, the pandemic has hindered our ownership growth, right? So last year we were on way to hit our mark at the end of last year for 500 owners. So for the store to be successful, we need 1,200 owners before we have the store. And this is a proven model. Like I said earlier, the food cooperatives that are starting today are different than how they started back in the 70s. You have to be big now. There's so much competition in the grocery market. If we started smaller, we wouldn't succeed. So we want to have a one-stop shop. So the pandemic has hurt us. We used to be at the Vallejo Farmers Market, and that's where we would get a lot of our owners. But we've been continually working through this pandemic. Our board has been meeting more through 2020. We would meet every single week, and it helped us to do some house cleaning, get on top of things that we were neglecting because we were out there and engaging so much with the community. So we're in stage 2 of development.
Oh, great.
There's 3 stages and we're in stage 2. And our goals are we're always working on increasing ownership. That's the bottom line. And this year our goals are to really connect with more of the food vendors and perhaps have some kind of a pop-up, maybe when the gates open again. And showcase some of the local food producers and farmers that could be in the store. And in the next few months, we really want to find an area. We really want to define a zip code. Where's the store going to be is the most asked question that we get. People who live in Vallejo want it there. People who live in Benicia want it there. And from the very beginning, again, being new to the area, I just generally felt how Vallejo and Benicia were so connected, like siblings. We're inside of both bridges, right? And then we have the hills, right? So I just wanted.
And we're just one exit away.
Exactly, we're so close.
It's like
we're siblings.
Yeah.
We're siblings, and so instead of the feud about where it should be, we want to form our own community, right? Right now, we have 348 owners, and about 20, I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but there's a little bit more interest in Vallejo. There's about 20 more owners in Vallejo, but Benicia is catching up. And since the pandemic happened, we have more full fair share owners as opposed to partial shares. So it's $300 for an owner share, but the partial share is $25 and then $25 every quarter until you meet that $300. But once you put that $25 down, you're an owner. You're not an owner when you get to $300.
That is awesome.
You're an owner.
Yes.
The only difference is that you won't get the patronage at the store yet, and we're not there yet. So even if you come in at $25, you have a voice.
And so how many jobs would you anticipate once this is up and running? How many jobs would this generate for the community?
So I don't really have those numbers at this time, but just food cooperatives, they just have such an impact. So we're looking for a 10,000 square foot store.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 10,000, but 6,400 of it would be retail and the rest behind. We're wanting to have a community kitchen in the store, so we could have that open for so many different things, the education for the kids,
cooking demonstrations,
and also a lot of the small businesses, the food businesses, they have to rent commercial kitchen space, and it's so expensive, and it just cuts into their profits, so they why bother? And so we want to have a space that is economically viable for these small producers to get their feet off the ground. So there's just so many wonderful things that we want to do, and again, it's up to the community what they want. Yes. And cooperatives also, they just reflect the community. There's a video I saw, a short video, it brought tears to my eyes about a food cooperative in Minnesota, and they had a large Northern African population. And so in their deli, they had a lot of the foods that were unique to that area of the country. So the people that shopped there, they felt like they were back home. And so we get to do that. We get, Vallejo is like one of the most diversified cities in the country. And so let's reflect that in our grocery store.
Yes, I definitely, I have to go to Asian Mart to get some of my Asian foods, and I have to go, if I want my Indian food, I have to go to the Indian Bazaar. But yes, we're a very diverse community, and it would be great to have a supermarket reflect that. And you go to the mainstream supermarkets, and they'll just have the standard, fruits and vegetables, and then I have to go travel all across town to go get a certain, spice or herb. And I think that is really wonderful. And again, the community takes control over the food source, and the community is involved in what is displayed if you become an owner. And to say, I'm part of this, I'm a part owner to this, and you could obtain this only by starting, by putting down $25 towards this. I think that's really great and really awesome. I definitely see the need, and I applaud you for going to the Vallejo Farmers Market and marketing this and getting the word out. And I definitely see the need in our community. I shop in Benicia, I shop in Vallejo. I even have to go all the way up towards Sacramento for produce. And we really need this to be up and going soon. How is there any, like, you mentioned Benicia and Vallejo in the ownership. What takes precedence where the store will be? Is it the owners voting, or is it prime real estate that you're looking for? What would be the ideal site for you?
So what happens next is we have to do a market study, which will identify the best area. So we need 3 choices. Okay, so we have 3 areas in Benicia and Vallejo, and then we have a consultant all ready to go. We were going to be doing this last year in March. That was the goal when we got 300 owners to do our market study, but then COVID came, and so we put it on pause because market studies have a shelf life, and so because you need that data to go to the banks for funding.
Right.
So now it's time, because we feel that with having a location in a zip code, that will bring more owners in, because they're kind of on the fence. Well, where's it going to be? Where's it going to be? And really, in our opinion, it doesn't matter where it's going to be in Vallejo or Benicia, because we won't have to go over a bridge,
No.
right? It'll be close.
Very close.
And we're supporting our communities. So the bottom line is we need to have a successful, profitable store that will be around for generations to come. So we need to identify 3 different areas, and then our consultant will come up here and she will look at those areas. She'll find like the normal traffic line. She'll go back and look at all the data, and she has some incredible data points that she has that is unique to her research and cooperatives. Once she comes back with this data, she'll say, okay, this is your area. This is your area. And because, based on all of this research, all of this data, this store will bring in the most profits. Okay. So, and so that's what it's based on. Again, I don't think I mentioned this earlier, but we are not reinventing the wheel here. We are working with an organization called the Food Co-op Initiative. They're based out of Minnesota, and they help communities around the country do exactly this. And so this formula has been proven. And Debbie, our consultant, is like so spot on with her data findings. So so that is the next step, is to find out. So
other communities that might be listening today, I would encourage you to look into this organization. Maybe you might have a need in your community. I have family members that live in San Mateo, all over the Bay Area, even in other states. I would definitely encourage everyone to visit the Cultivate Community Food Co-op and their affiliates, and maybe you can get something like this started in your community as well.
Exactly. Every community needs a food cooperative. I mean, they're amazing. They're welcoming. They're just so right on the mark with.
And it not only touches upon the food structure, but the economic structure. It supports small other businesses. They could probably do marketing, do food demonstrations. You could have featured artists.
The sky is the limit.
Yes.
I mean, the sky. There's so much. I mean, some cooperatives, they're so successful. You know, they're opening more stores. They're starting to buy land and farm their own. Some have rooftop gardens.
Right.
You know, they have beer gardens. I mean, you know, daycare, or you know, when you're shopping to have the children. You know, we're thinking about, you know, how there's food delivery, right? Well, what about the people that are staying at home that don't get out much, that don't have a vehicle? What if we had our own van, you know, with co-op written all over it, go to pick up these people and bring them back to the co-op for social engagement?
Yes.
You know,
and also links to other resources in the community, like counseling, or, you know, all different types of things, have pamphlets available. I have a vision in my mind how beautiful it could be.
It's amazing. The communities who have cooperatives, they love them. So this was a point in history, you know, before the co-op and after the co-op. You know, I mean,
I think we're starting to gravitate towards more natural, getting to the core of our community. Types of things. We're actually going back in an age almost like the 60s. And I'm seeing people, you know, moving in drones and creating apartments out of buses, and, you know, just going back to the natural essence of life and the core of life at a different level. And yes, we may need a huge, big co-op, but as long as we keep it, I think the perspective that it's for the community and it doesn't become commercialized. And I think a lot of people are tired of the corporate arena running things. And this is another way to empower our community. And I want to thank you so much for coming out today. And if anyone were interested in becoming a part owner to this, or they just want to learn more about co-ops, where should they find you?
So we have a website, and it's called www.cultivatecommunityfood.coop. So we have our own name at the end. So cultivatecommunityfood.coop. We're also on Facebook. We're also on Instagram. There's a few other ways that you can help us get going. Can I mention a few of those?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so of course, first and foremost is become a food co-op owner, and I just want to put this out there, because after people listen to this, they'll think, well, wait a minute, 1,200 owners at $300, that's only $360,000. How can you have a co-op for that? Well, it takes a lot of money to have a co-op, and with our pro forma, we found that we need to raise $1.4 million just from the ownership to have this be successful.
Oh, wow.
So when we get to about 800 owners, that's when we're going to be starting what's called a capital campaign. And basically a capital campaign is a way to go out and find more money, right? So we come back to our owners, and we offer loans. You can, give a loan to the bank, to the co-op, with higher interest than you would get in your savings account at your normal bank. We'll be selling preferred shares, and so those are different ways. Other cooperatives, there are several cooperatives that are opening this next year throughout the country, even during this pandemic, and they have surpassed their capital campaign goals of 1.4 million. So that's coming down the road. But so the way that you can help is, of course, become an owner. Tell all your family and friends to become an owner. We have lawn signs, and that's been attracting people. They'll be, oh, a co-op's coming. So, place a lawn sign in your yard when you become an owner. Also, let us know where there's some open land, or if you own some land that's in a very visible area where we can do lawn sign blitzes. Have 10, 12 lawn signs so people see it and it's like, oh, what's that? And then one of the other most important ways that you can help is to connect us with the champions that are in the community. So we're trying to reach those people who have, influence in the community, people who have deep pockets, and people who can help us get through all of the red tape. So we're definitely calling on all of those kind of people. And if you are a part of an organization that you would like us to give a presentation to, let us know that. We can do that during Zoom right now. And then also on our website, we have a tab for volunteering, and just share with us what you'd like to help with. We'd like to align what we need and what you can offer so that you're passionate about what you're doing to really help us grow.
I think what you're doing is spectacular, and I can't wait to see it. And how would you say we could possibly see this in the next couple of years? Or
yes, that is what we're hopeful. So typically they say like 4 to 6 years from a co-op to get going, and it's all just based on the involvement in the community. When people ask us when the store is going to open, sometimes it's the people who haven't become an owner yet.
I think that if everyone in the community, if you really care about healthy food and healthy food choices and being part of something really big that can uplift your community, I would suggest definitely looking into this organization or even looking at the structure. And I think that just by you being a founder, it's very motivational for people that want to uplift their community. And I applaud you personally, and I applaud your organization. I am very thankful that you came out today. And I also posted the website onto my Facebook, and I'm going to consider possibly, looking into becoming a partial owner as well. I was reading up on your website, and I found it very encouraging, and I see the need here. I really do. But thank you for coming out.
Sure. Thank you so much, Tina, for having me.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you.